Howdy and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Going to be looking at another Monogram quarter scale kit. This is the 1962 Monogram kit of the Messerschmitt Me-109E. It's kit number PA7498, and 98 representing a suggested retail price of 98 cents. And it is in quarter scale or 1/48 scale. Got box art by Dick Loker. And the kit itself, as best as I can tell, is representative of an Me-109E3. The E-series of the Me-109 was the first one that had swapped out the Junkers Umo 210 engine for the Daimler-Benz DB601. That had increased horsepower by about 300 horsepower. There was a weight increase of 400 pounds, but the horsepower increase and a couple of other changes in streamlining helped increase the overall top speed and performance of the aircraft. They moved the radiator from under the engine over to under the wings. This painting here doesn't really show it very well, but they were pretty sophisticated radiators that they developed for underneath here. They also switched to a three-bladed metal prop, and then there was also some armament change. The E1 was fitted with two 7.92 MG17s above the engine and two 7.92 MG17s in the wings. The E2 swapped out the wing armament to two 20mm MGFF cannons, and they also had a 20mm MGFF firing through the prop hub through the engine block. That gun setup was not very successful at the time, so they didn't make very many E2s with that engine-mounted cannon, and it's quickly removed as part of the E3 production series, which just had the two MGs on the engine cowl and then the two MGFF on the wings. Production, the E1s, 1,183 were produced. Only a handful of the E2s were produced. I couldn't find a specific number for that one. And the E3s, 1,276 were produced from that. So as best as I can tell, this is supposed to represent an E3. So that's a little bit about the specifics of this particular model of the Me-109. Won't go into much else about that because I assume most of you know about the BF-109 or Me-109. And also both of those, Me-109 and BF-109, are pretty much interchangeable. Both are used in wartime records, so there is no one correct use of that, is my understanding. So let's look at the kit itself. As we mentioned, we got this great artwork on the cover here by Dick Loker. You've got the aircraft here. Yeah, it's not necessarily the most accurate in representation. These are itty-bitty tiny little wings here. The angles are not quite right on stuff. But we got some action going on. We got these guys, running out to get the plane going. Don't know if one of these guys is supposed to be a pilot or not, but you got a ground crewman up here, maybe getting the aircraft ready. On the bottom corner here, we've got the 50s Monogram logo with the 4 stars, named for quality hobby kits. Up here, the 1/4-inch scale, which is 1/48 scale, and that was kind of a carryover from wood kits from the 40s, early 50s. And they've got one of a series of models of famous aircraft in identical scale. So Monogram's kind of starting to shift towards a consistent scale instead of just a bunch of box scale kits. Revell kind of stuck with box scale for quite a while, but Monogram, particularly in the 1/4 scale stuff, was really trying to get a consistent scale going with it. We've got over here the German fighter, authentic action model, retracting landing gear, 3-blade prop, machine gun, and cannon. So the kits, as part of this 1/4 scale series, we'd seen that they had just made a whole bunch of naval aircraft, which had a lot of operating features. On this BF-109, the only operating feature really is the retractable gear. There's not a lot of stuff on an Me-109 to be able to make operating. It doesn't have folding wings. They could have maybe done a dropping bomb on it, maybe figured out how to do an opening canopy on it. But there's not a whole lot to do, I guess, on here, so that's why it doesn't have many features. So we've got a signature down here from Dick Loker. On the side here, Monogram, historical, collector's model, 1/4 inch. Information about the 109. Logo again here. On this side here, they've got a listing of other kits that were part of that series. Dauntless, TBF, we covered those two. Helldiver we've covered. Wildcat we will get to eventually. Spitfire, Zero, and the BF-109. Interesting how they also, the way I'm also using interchangeably the name, but here they've got the Me-109, but on the side here they list BF-109. And then also the copyright of 1962. On the end, we've got the kit number, repeat of the top box art, and same thing on this end. In here, we can see the lithograph that's been wrapped and glued onto a hard box. It's a fairly standard sized box that was used for a lot of these kits. And we have our instructions. Monogram usually had some pretty nice instructions, so we'll take a look at these here. So again, copyright up here. Here they're showing you quarter scale equals 1/48. And Monogram is using this plastic kit name on a lot of their kits at the time, really emphasizing that it's plastic. Some more information on the Me-109 or BF-109. And looks like we've got kind of a drawing of the completed kit, similar to the box top. You open it up, we've got an exploded view of all the parts. You can see it's fairly simple. Suggestions for how to build your model nicely. Plastic kit cement from Monogram. And then your step-by-step, which you're using kind of photographs. I think these are kind of retouched a little bit. But nice way of being able to show you how to assemble everything, especially when you get into detail stuff like how to make this landing gear work. They're also showing you how to add some rubber bands to hold parts together while your tube glue is drying. Here's this kit. You're using a heated blade to be able to melt the axle to keep the wheel on. I'm sure a lot of you remember doing that. Assembly of the wings. Again, a bunch of rubber bands. Putting the gear doors on, the tail struts. The E version was the last one to have the external bracing for the tail. And interestingly, you do have a separate rudder piece on this, and the prop and the hub are separate pieces. And then your canopy pops on. This is one of the things that kind of points me towards it being an E3 as opposed to an E4. So it does still have the kind of rounded canopy. The E4 went to the flat, sharp edge canopy to ease production challenges. They do give you the pitot tube down below, and then they're showing you how to operate the landing gear. On the back here, we've got how to finish it, how to apply your decals, suggestions on painting, and some images of some of the other kits in the series, and decal location. If this is supposed to be an E3, none of the E3s, as far as I'm aware of, were painted in this overall green. A few of the E1s were. The Ds, had the all green top, usually still in a 2 tones of green splinter camouflage. But starting with the E1, they started bringing the lower color up the fuselage side. And then in squadron service, they'd start putting some modeling on the side over that lower fuselage color. And definitely by the E3, this style of bringing the top color all the way down to the lower edge was gone. So it's kind of an odd choice on how they're doing it, but I guess they figure, kids who are mainly assembling these things wouldn't be able to handle, the splinter camouflage that was being done on these. So they went to the earlier, 1938 style camouflage on here. And then the decals that are supplied, kind of, similar to the other, quarter scale kits of the series, where it's a little spurious on the markings, just kind of giving you a sense of being a German fighter. This badge here is for Jägerschwader 26 or JG 26 Schlageta. And then it's giving you a chevron with a horizontal line behind the fuselage cross, which this chevron is representative of an adjutant for the group, and then this is for the second squadron within the group. So this would actually technically make this 2 JG-26's adjutant's aircraft. Was not able to find a photograph of this particular setup. But I will, the intro pictures were of other JG-26 aircraft. So nothing specific to show you on this, but you do get an instrument panel decal, which is good because there's not much as far as cockpit on this one. Now let's take a look at our plastic. And we've got, here's our fuselage pieces. You can see there's nothing on the inside here, either side. And then there's where you can put your instrument panel decal. Our fit is actually really nice. This is a real tight fit. Tail's a little bit split apart. You have to move those around. The weak spot on the molding there. But we've got some fairly fine rivet detail, some raised panel lining. We've got representation for the cowl machine guns, just a little soft. The side carburetor intake is solid. The exhaust, it kind of passes for it. The oil cooler is closed off. It's not cut open there. So if you wanted to do a little extra work, you could definitely open this stuff up. But overall, I think it does a pretty good job of giving it a good shape. You have a fixed tail wheel. I think whoever had this kit before painted the tail wheel, and that's it. But pretty tight fit. You really wouldn't need much filling on this. So there's our fuselage. And here's our wing. And same thing with this. We've got raised rivets, some fairly fine panel lining that's raised. We've got the bulges for the wing cannon, representation of some access panels. And here's our radiators. This does have openings on the front, but not on the back. And then some engraved lining for the flaps and ailerons. And then the cannon barrels were separate, which is nice. Here's our top wing pieces, same thing again. Pretty decent. A little bit of representation of fabric covering on here. It's our horizontal tail, all one piece. You have some ejector pin marks on the bottom of it, so at least they put them on the bottom. Here's our rudder. Ejector pin marks on this side. So you could kind of position that on the tail. Here's our propeller. Pretty good representation of propeller. They do have the hole here in the boss. And this tree has the gear doors. Some detail on the outside. Not much on the inside. In fact, they're kind of soft. Which, actually, this curved surface may actually be accurate. I have to go back and look at my reference on that. Here's our black tree. They did give 2 colors of the trees here for parts. So here's our cannon barrels, antenna, pitot, one of the wheels, which they did a pretty good job of kind of representing the wheels a little bit better. These do look somewhat like a BF-109's wheels and tires. And here's our gear. A little soft on detail there. Here's our rear bulkhead. Armor plate, I guess, too. And then it's the generic pilot that's carried over from the Naval series, so he's not really German looking in his uniform outfit. And he just kind of gets stuck on the back here. Actually, I think it goes that way. There we go. So that's it for your cockpit. And what else do we got in here? Got our rear struts. And here's our canopy. And this is got raised framing on here. There is little bits of rivet detail on there. Fairly clear. Has little parts that come down to the side of the fuselage. And it looks like they're trying to represent the armored windscreen on it too. So, pretty nice canopy. Even though it's thick, it's still pretty clear. Very well done. Monogram, I think, really usually did a pretty good job on their clear pieces. There you go. Simple kit, but definitely a far cry from your other choice in quarter scale 109, which was Aurora, which was a maroon plastic, just monstrosity. So Monogram didn't issue this kit a whole lot. This is the original 62 boxing. They did a 67 blue box style, 68. There was a revision on that blue box. They added German crosses across it. 70, the blue box got the Mattel logo added. And then 73 is when they started with those white photo box. 75 revised information on that photo box. 76 is one of the partnerships with Bandai in Japan using that photo box. And then that was it until 88, where this kit was boxed with their Hurricane as part of this Air Combat Duo combo pack. And then finally, in 99, Monogram released it as part of their Monogram Classics, kind of a nostalgia reissue, using the old same artwork. So if you're online looking for this kit, if you want one of the original ones, be sure to see that it's got the wrap on it, as opposed to printed directly onto the cardboard. But the copyright dates on them are changed to 99, and also over here it'll have the word classic in here, but the kit or the boxing looks almost identical. So if you want to get one of the old ones, make sure you don't get suckered into buying one of the repops from 99. So that's it for this one. If you have built one of these, tell us about it in the comments section. If you got one sitting on your shelf, as always, send us some pictures, and we'll include it in the next viewer build video. And that is all for today. So thanks for watching, and have yourself a great rest of your day.